What is going on, folks? I'm Des with DesFit. So if you've been a subscriber to the channel for a while, you'll know that I've been a long time fan of Jaybird headphones, going all the way back to the X2s. I still own 2 original pairs of Freedoms along with a pair of X3s, so I was pretty excited to check out the new X4s as well as the new Tarah Pros. Now, full disclosure, although I did purchase all my previous pairs, Jaybird did send out the X4s and the Tarah Pros just for review purposes, but just like all my other reviews, this isn't a paid review or anything like that, and all the opinions are of my own. So with that out of the way, let's talk about the X4s and how they differ from the X3s, and there actually isn't a whole lot of difference here, but I think that's actually mainly a good thing. So the biggest difference is that the X4s are now going to be fully waterproof, not just the water resistant and sweat-proof design of the X3s. So the X4s are now IPX7 rated, meaning that you can actually have these submerged in 1 meter of water for up to 30 minutes, which is pretty impressive. So another big difference between the X4s and the X3s is that the X4s now use a cable management cinch rather than the cable management little thingies that came on the X3s. Now, I like to wear headphones with the cord hanging in front, mainly because I'm a cyclist, and what happens is that if you route them behind your neck, it can kind of interfere with some of the helmet retention systems there, and then if you were to route them above your ear, well, what ends up happening is that it could cause some discomfort with sunglasses. And then finally, it's just a little bit easier to access the remote when it's hanging straight down. Now, unfortunately, what happens is that if you do wear the cord hanging in front, what happens is that you have this little extra bit of cord that's hanging from the front here, which can get caught on some shirt and some zippers. But I do have to say that it is rather quick. But my question is, why not just include these little cord management thingies with the X4s? Because they have to cost like nothing to produce. So I would have just loved to see them included in the package. And then there are also going to be brand new Comply Ultra phone tips that come with the X4s. And I know that these are really popular, but I tend to like the silicone tips a little bit better, but to each their own. And then the ear fins also take on a slightly different form with the X4s, and rather than having that cool looking hexagon pattern, they went with a more loop looking design, which may not be as aesthetically pleasing, but they do work really well. Probably actually a little bit more secure than the previous generation. And the SportFit Plus system does allow you to wear it with the cord hanging in front of your neck or above. It provides a lot of different wearing options. So other than that, the X4s are pretty much going to be the same as the X3s, and the X3s are really good headphones. Now, a couple things to keep in mind though is that the X4s and well as the X3s aren't exactly the most svelte of a design, so if you're a cyclist, you may encounter a little bit of wind noise because they do stick out from your ear just a little bit. Now, Jaybird, along with some other companies like, let's say, Fitbit, tend to like to change their charging clip solutions with nearly every single upgrade or update that they come out, but I am super happy to report that you can actually use the same charging clip on the X3s on the X4s and vice versa. The only difference is that the X4s have a 1-piece charging clip where the X3s had this 2-piece charging clip where you can actually remove the little other portion of it, which I never removed, but it's pretty nice to see that you can actually use one with the other. And then battery life is rated at 8 hours, and I was getting more like 7 out of mine, but I do listen to my music a little bit louder than I probably should be, so just keep that in mind. But it also does have this quick charge feature where if you plug it in for just 10 minutes, it's supposed to net you about an hour's worth of playtime. Again, a little bit shorter for my testing, about 45 minutes, but still not bad. The sound quality will also be the same as the X3s, and I couldn't really tell a difference between them, even trying out different equalizer settings in the Jaybird app, and I had nothing to complain about the X3, so that's good to go there. The sound profile out of the box is nice and balanced, and you can get everything from a super heavy bass response to easy listening sound profiles depending on your needs. And then the X4s use Bluetooth 4.1. Now, I was able to get about 30 feet away from my phone before it started to lose a connection. And then in regards to connectivity with smartwatches, I was able to pair it with pretty much every watch that I had laying around with no problems. And I know some people had some issues with Garmin devices where they'd have inconsistent connections if they were wearing their headphones with the Bluetooth receiver on the opposite side of their body as their watch. I didn't necessarily have those issues, and I didn't have the issues with the X4s either. So the X4s are definitely a solid update to the X3s now being fully waterproof, but that should probably be the only compelling reason for you to upgrade if you already have a working pair of X3s. Now, like I said earlier, Jaybird also did send out the Tarah Pros for me to test out, and spoiler alert, these things are pretty darn good. So make sure to subscribe to get a notification when that video comes out. And if you like this video, go ahead and hit that like button down below, and stay tuned for plenty of fitness and sports technology reviews that are coming soon. And in the meantime, go have fun with your fitness, and we will see you in the next video.